As a citizen, you are supposed to be restored to your rights, your dignity. You are supposed to be restored to your freedom. You are supposed to be restored to your fundamental respect. One of the biggest things that we have lost as a people is respect. There is no respect for the citizen. Nobody apologizes to the citizens. Nobody comes to you to give you the honor that you deserve. We think that those in politics are the bosses. No, the bosses are the citizens. And we must take back this country back to the hands of the citizens. But the citizens are the boss. God Jehovah is the ultimate boss. So that foundational issue is important. We have to understand that the foundation of our nation is God at the center and citizens at the center. Citizens first. We call it citizenocracy, which is a class or a type of government where the citizen is at the center, where the citizen defines lawmaking, defines legislation, defines where we have come from. And I want to acknowledge our war veterans. I've just sent Mr. Magwizi there, one of our luminary war veterans. We acknowledge you, our war liberators. We are very humble to see you and to acknowledge you and the team that you have. We honor you. So yes, the citizen movement's philosophy places God at the center, citizens at the center, for the flourishing of happiness, freedom, peace, unity, justice, prosperity, as values that undergird and guide and inspire our government plans, our government policies, our practices, and our laws of the land. We shall blossom as a nation, we shall flourish as a nation on the basis of honoring life, liberty, dignity, security, diversity, and prosperity of each and every citizen. And I must say, we have an inspiring vision that will make Zimbabwe great, that will transform this nation into a jewel, not just of the continent, but of the world. We will lead and build Zimbabwe. We will go beyond and restore our breadbasket status. Remember that we're number one. Remember that we're a winning nation. Remember that we're a strong nation. We are going to move from being a basket case to restoring our breadbasket status as a nation. Yes, we will make our country beautiful again. We will make our country more secure, more inclusive, more prosperous, more victorious, and more glorious. Every Zimbabwean shall be proud to be called a Zimbabwean. It shall be a badge of honor and a source of pride to be from Zimbabwe. You shall earn awards and accolades by merely being a person from Zimbabwe. We are great people, we're good people. Let us celebrate our greatness and share our greatness with the world. That is only possible. It begins with redefining the leadership. And this is why we are putting on the table and forward our humble submission of what will turn what appears to be an intractable and impossible situation into an inevitable possibilities situation. What appears to be unobtainable dreams into what is going to be tangible and lived realities of what our daily lives must be built around. Being inclusive, being prosperous, being great, and being new. I must assure you, fellow citizens, that with speed we will restore dignity, hope, and happiness. With urgency, we will reconstruct and rebuild our great country. With excellence, we are going to modernize systems, services, and facilities. With brilliance, we will transform culture, structure, and infrastructure. With love and respect, we will reconcile. We will heal our wounds. The wounds of Bukura wounds, the wounds of Muramba-Chinga, the wounds of intolerance, the wounds of fight and political violence, short sleeve, long sleeve. All those wounds are going to be healed so that we become a great nation once again. A nation forever. Yes, justice will be served. Every debt will be paid. We are not going to ask for debt forgiveness. We are too rich to be a basket case and a challenge case. We'll pay back all our debts because it's honorable before God and before men to honor your debt. We will pay back. And we're not going to ask for debt forgiveness. We are simply going to have a restructuring of our debt and honoring our debt. Yes, all mistakes that were made will be corrected. Errors will be reversed. Wounds will be healed. We will connect our great country. We will make Zimbabwe a safe place for everyone. We will make sure power is restored so that you are powered. We are going to restore the necessary macroeconomic conditions to make sure that success is restored to our country. We are not going to be off deliverables, programs and policies to usher a new great Zimbabwe for everyone. We know that once we have done this, this message is going to connect not only with all citizens, but with all investors, with all friends, with the international community, to invite them to make sure that 2023 is a turning point, is a change moment representing the best chance for our country, the best chance for everyone, to reset our country and to take back our country on that default setting, a moment, a module of success, a module of prosperity, a module of opportunity for everyone, a new direction in our fresh politics for the nation, where everyone matters, where everyone counts, where everyone must be given a chance and be listened to. And to show the gesture of everyone being involved, this is why we have said we will not launch our blueprint in Harare. We can't Hararize everything. Let's de-Hararize. And make sure that we de-Hararize everything. Policies, programs must be for everyone. Starting with Bulawayo, you are the head. They have not seen this blueprint. They have not heard about this blueprint. It is being launched direct, live and direct, not delayed from the city of Kenya. As we have stated, it is not about anything but about leadership, the liberation promise, and not negative. There are those who say Mr. Chamisa as a presidential candidate wants to reverse the gains of the struggle. In fact, I want to entrench them because they are in reverse gear as we speak. They are not titled this for our people. We want our people to have titles. That is reverse gear. People knew that when we went to the liberation struggle, it was about Ubuntu, one man, one vote. People don't understand the meaning of that vote. We want to restore the independence of our people, moving away from flag independence to real independence. Independence must be felt around your family, within your family, in your life, in your pocket, in your bank account, at the school that your child is going. That is where independence is. We want to reconnect with the ideals and the values of the liberation struggle. So Mr. Chamisa is there, carrying the great dream of Joshua Nkomo, carrying the dream of great Lookout Masuku, carrying the dream of change people. That is the dream I'm carrying. I'm coming here as a humble young man, but I know that I'm carrying an ancient dream of Navaning story. The dream that was advanced by Jason Ziapapa Moyo. That is the dream I carry. And that dream is a good dream for people of Zimbabwe. It was a dream of happiness, a dream of hope, and I know that you may not want to give us a chance, but give us a chance to change this country. You will not be disappointed. And I can tell you that people in Zambia, we are your best chance. This is your best deal since 1980. To remind you of what you have desired and what you want. We represent a government for everyone. We represent a leadership for everyone. Of course we know we will encounter obstacles and challenges. But no weapon fashioned against us shall prosper. This is why we have been standing against all odds. I saw my brother Douglas is pulled out of the race. It's a tough game. It's not easy. Yes, we agree with him There are challenges. There are problems. But the best way to win is not to quit. The best way to win is to fight unto victory. And we have said to the people of Zimbabwe, count on us to fight unto victory. We will fight them in the courts, we will fight them in the streets, we will fight them in the ballot box, we will fight them at the ballot. And we know that ultimately our God is going to stand with us. So yes, we are ready. We have programs, we have projects to transform our country and move it in a different direction. The time is now. Change is upon us. Change is coming. Yes. Look at the time. The time is now. It's time for everyone. This is the time. This year, we are going to make it. I can tell you, our opponents know it. That's why they are responding using violence. That's why they are responding saying, Ujaya uzangeni. Uzangeni ngekani ngenkinga. Blueprint, the new Great Zimbabwe Blueprint. It has 5 canons, and I'm going to go into those canons in a summary. I will not go into the entire book. You will get your copy. Those of you who came here, you must get your copy. Those who of course, the document is going to be distributed to all and sundry. But we want you to understand that there are 5 fundamental canons that are underpinning our new Great Zimbabwe Blueprint, which is our plan for a new great country. Number 1 is the issue of restoration. We are emphasizing that as a philosophical guideline, we have to make sure that we recalibrate, re-energize, reposition, rediscover, and revive our country. But to revive our country for greatness, we must be able to look at what we have lost and that which we have to restore. Number 1, we have to restore faith in God and worship our God. I know some of you may differ. Yes, we will not do away with freedom of worship. But we as a people must together know that we worship our God. We honor our God. We love our God. So we have to restore faith and worship. If you are to be great in anything, be great in your worship. Be great in your worship. When you worship God great, our country is going to be great. Oh, yes. One of the reasons why this nation has not made significant gains is because those who are in authority are worshiping darkness. We must worship light. God is the source of light. We must follow light and not follow darkness. Number 2, we must restore confidence and trust in God. People must learn to trust and believe in their government. How do they trust government? Government must be trustable. You can't be trusted if you are not trustable. Government wants to be loved, but they are not lovable. To be lovable, you must love the citizen. We want a government that loves the citizen. When we make errors and correct errors, when we make mistakes, we must come and apologize. When there's no water, we must apologize. When there's no electricity, we must apologize. Not to come and say, Tinokudashura, Tinokurakasha. That is trust in government. We want to restore trust in government. What collapses before a currency collapses is trust in leadership. When people trust in leadership, that's why in the United States of America they say in God we trust. Because everything is about trust. When people trust their government, they are prepared to use even tissue as paper money because they trust their government. And that tissue will be a strong currency. But when people have no trust in a government, the currency will be what it is today. It will actually inoramba because there's no trust in government. We want to restore trust and confidence in leadership, in MPs, in the councillors. councillors must also behave in a manner that restores that trust. Not to go into council, you start looting stands, you don't go back to residents, you don't report back to the citizens. That trust must be restored. One of our key issues we must restore is to restore the trust and confidence in government. We need to restore the trust in the rights and freedoms of the citizen. You must be free to demonstrate. And when you demonstrate, you must not end up in prison. When you demonstrate, you must not be like Mutwaka, MRP. They are now behind bars for simply demonstrating. You must not be like Job Sikala, representing a mere medat, child of Zimbabwe. Blessing Ali. He is in prison. We must restore fundamental rights and freedoms. This is the president who is going to give you back your rights. We need to restore dignity and hope. Zimbabweans have ceased and stopped hoping. If you want to see the evidence of our lack of hope, go to the passport office. Every day, there are people who are thinking of leaving their own country. As we speak, 6 million, 5 million people and above are in the diaspora. It tells you that hope has been lost. But look, we are looking at a symbol of hope. Trust us. Vote for us. Then we restore the hope. You'll be hopeful again. We will be able to give you that hope that you wake up every morning and say, it's going to be a great day. Right now in Zimbabwe, when you wake up every day, it's going to be a worse off day. Even government never disappoints. Every day they have a new law. They disappoint in terms of doing better. They will never fail you in terms of worsening things. When you think that they fail even more. They always bring a new law. We need to restore a new hope and a new dignity. The rule of law. We need the restoration of the rule of law. Nobody must be terrorized by government. The government must not be a bully. The government must be a keeper. The government must be a protector, not a violator. Right now, the government is a chief violator. We need to restore a government so that it's a chief protector of your rights. Amen. When there is no protection of your rights, there's no sanity. There's no security. We need the restoration of order, law, and discipline. There's too much anarchy. But anarchy starts at the top. When the president is an anarchist, the whole nation is full of anarchy. When the president is full of disorder, there is no order across the whole country. May you trust this president for order, for discipline, and for the rule of law. The restoration of institutions, big ideas, and not big men. We don't want a nation where we're big men. I've said to colleagues, don't praise me. You can cheer me on, but don't praise me. Because this is what brought Mugabe. This is what brought Mnangagwa. We can't have a country where we celebrate an individual. There's only one God. All of us are human. All of us are human beings. Let's be all under God and respect that we need to restore the integrity of each and every individual. No one is above others. The work ethic. Zimbabweans have stopped working because there's no merit in working. There's no profit in working. We want to restore that work ethic. People must work. Under our government, we're not going to close industry at 4 o'clock. There are going to be shifts. 8 to 4, one shift. 4 to midnight, another shift. Midnight to morning, another shift. That way we create jobs. That way we are not sleeping. The world is waiting for us. Let's work and produce. Let's make products. Let's not sleep. Under this government, you are not going to sleep. Of course, we are going to respect the Sabbath. You need to rest. You need to take a rest one day. But all the other days, let's be on our way. Let's work. Let's grow. Restoration of fair reward for hard work and for sweat. We must eat what we kill. We must end an honest living. People must not do we can't be a nation of Umbavamba. Asifuni ukubusa isinenene. Sifuna ukubusa uqondileyo. Sifuna ayisibusa uqondileyo. Sifuna iqiniso. Sifuna abakhokheli bayahlonipha ama-citizens. That is what we are going to restore. You trust this president? fair remuneration, fair reward in return on investment. Restoration of standards and ethics. Right now, there are no standards. We need standards on infrastructure, standards on government, standards on even the representatives of leadership. Restoration. I'm still on the restoration canon. It's just what we need to restore. So you trust this president will be able, together with the citizen government, restore ourselves in sanctity and dignity as a people. Number 2 is the reconstruction canon. Now on reconstruction, what are we going to reconstruct? We have to develop an infrastructure master plan. Everything has fallen and collapsed. We need to bring back infrastructure. I call them lines of civilization, lines of power, lines of electricity, lines of communication, lines of water, lines of housing, lines of ablution. We need these lines of civilization in the rural areas, in the urban areas. We need to make sure that we don't have boreholes in the urban areas. It's a sign and a symbol of collapse and failure. Boreholes must not even be in the rural solar powered system, having constructed proper dams so that people have piped water. Boreholes are a sign of a government that is retarded. It's an analog government. You need a digital government. Let's go for the digital government so that we reconstruct. Let's construct those lines of civilization. Let's rebuild our industries. Bulawayo was known as Into to Seattle. A city that is about to be best for business. Number 3 is the modernization canon, the world creation canon. We are known for just being employees. We must create wealth. One of our key strategic objectives in a new government is to create billionaires and billionaires. That is how development is done. Lee Kuan Yew developed Singapore. Mahathir developed Malaysia on account of a battalion of entrepreneurs. We want to raise and bud, blooming flowers of entrepreneurs. Look at Steve Masiwa. Where is he? Out of the country. Why is he out of the country? This country could not accommodate him. Why? Because we don't accommodate ingenuity. We don't accommodate entrepreneurial skills. We don't accommodate creative thinking. This government is going to produce more entrepreneurs. If you want more Steve Masiwas, try this government. The citizen government. Number 4 is the transformation canon. And more important than the modernization canon, we want to modernize state institutions. We want to modernize even institutions within the private sector. Our organs, our sectors, our services, our systems, all need modernization. So our first 3 years, we'll be modernizing. We don't want just to modernize the president. We want to modernize the president. Beyond modernizing an individual, and I'm saying, please, let's modernize the president so that the president is not archaic. The president is not analog. The president is digital. Let's modernize the president so that leadership is not just about the one who is occupying the position. We want to devolve responsibilities. We want to decentralize. That's why we've said devolution is our new revolution. Under the citizen government, we want to make sure that the government of Matabele and Bulawayo is equally the government of Mashonaland. Of course, we will do away with tribal connotations in terms of our taxonomy and classification of our regions. Number 4 is the transformation canon. We want transformation around the culture of doing business, the culture of government. We don't want a president who comes to tell you what he's going to do. The president must ask you what you want him to do for you. Citizen first. Citizen at the center. A culture that puts the citizen at the center. Structure, infrastructure, strategy, and models must be reformed. Number 5, which is the last one, is the reconciliation canon. Do you know that we are a country but we are not a nation? When you are a country and not a nation, you will have people divided and being divided on party lines, on tribal lines, on racial lines. But when you are a nation, you have a one vision, one common nation, and you are able to be one people. May we be one people again. Right now we are divided. You go to soccer, people are divided. Of course, we must support different teams. There's only one team that has to be supported, Islanders, and other teams. But then, That's diversity. We must understand that there's a distinction between diversity and division. We don't want division, we want diversity. When you are diverse, you make the garden beautiful. Because different colors get the glamour and the glitter of the garden. When we are different as a people, different political parties, one of the fundamental things we are going to put in place is sibantu sonke sifuna ukuthi hayi umuntu ngobe umuntu woabantu. So yes, Kukurahundi, Brambapsina, they all require a sober approach. We need to say, as a people, let's have restorative justice, rehabilitative justice, restitutive justice, and not retributive justice. When we have restorative justice, we want to restore those who were anchored, those who have wounds. You don't say no, but we have sorted you. It must be bottom up. We must rope in the church, the clergy, the traditional leaders, to build a community-based, citizen-based healing process. And of course, government is the aggressor. Government must apologize. And as a new leader, as a new president, I will apologize to the people of Macedonia. I will apologize to all those who lost their loved ones, because I'm doing so on behalf of a country. There's the principle of succession. You are succeeding in error. You are succeeding in mistakes. You are succeeding in omissions. You are succeeding in commissions. So we are coming in not because I did it, but because we did it as a government. We aggressed and harassed our own people. That apology will come from government. We can harass each other in terms of politics. You are this political party, that political party. That is a thing of the past. All political parties are good. There are bad people in ZANU-PF, and many of them. But there are also few good people. Those few good people must be part of building this nation together. Because Zimbabwe is full of diversity, and that diversity must be embraced. That is what makes this country great. You can't say, because this one is triple C, is yellow, I will not listen to them. You are ignoring talent. You are ignoring gift. You are ignoring skills. You are ignoring that ability that is going to unleash our country unto greatness. Fellow citizens, as I almost conclude, there is the issue of the 5 major points of our 5-point plan, with what we call the 5-point plan. The new Great Zimbabwe Plan is canons, which are the philosophical underpinnings, but it has 5 critical points that we are going to be focusing. Number 1 is the issue of making Zimbabwe great in the winning nation as a point plan. Point plan number 2 is governing and building a transformative consensus state. Our state is going to be bringing people together. That's why we are saying we are for everyone. We are for everyone. We are also going to build an entrepreneurial and productive economy, a shared inclusive economy for everyone. That's our point plan number 3. Number 4 is social justice and social services for everyone. Number 5 is nation building. We must emphasize on building a nation. Now, a nation is built on the basis of citizen rights, a bundle of privileges. Do you know that you must have what you call privileges? When you are in America, you get a green card if you are an American. Why? Because there are privileges associated with being an American. In this country, there must be something special about being a Zimbabwean. And by being a Zimbabwean, it's not about skin color. It's about the content of your character. Zimbabwean in your heart. Are you a Zimbabwean in your mind? White, black, brown, yellow. You are a Zimbabwean on the basis of what you subscribe to. A country called Zimbabwe. We are one people, one nation, one vision. What are we going to do on the 5-point plan of the new Great Zimbabwe as we unveil it? I will not go into the details, such a long book, but for all of you, you are going to do. Let's go back to the Commonwealth. Let's go back to be a happy and a civilized member of the United Nations. Let's go back into multilateralism. I saw my brother Mnangagwa when he went to Russia. He was saying, I support President Putin. We don't support a side. We support the side of peace. We are going to build multilateralism as a way of resolving disputes across the whole world. We'll invest in peace. We'll invest in supporting those who support peace. We will not take a side, especially if it is a side of aggression. Making Zimbabwe back into the family of nations. But to be able to do that, we must also be able to tick all the boxes on human rights, on good governance, on respecting our own citizens, on making sure that we are a God-loving, God-honoring nation. We honor our God by not killing each other, by not hating each other, by not dividing each other. When we honor our God, you don't hate another. You know that diversity is a gift from God. We are all diverse because God created us diverse. In fact, I would say God is the greatest artist. You will never find an artist who is able to create people so in billions, but so different. Let's celebrate the diversity of our great artists. Our God. We don't end there. We want to make Zimbabwe a winning nation in agriculture. Zimbabwe is made in agriculture. We want to restore agriculture in Zimbabwe, but to be able to do that, we must restore title deeds. There is no majority rule without majority title deeds. Title deeds are not going to be a marker. Independence is about title deeds. Without title deeds, you are not independent. We want every citizen to have a title deed of where they are. But to be able to do that, we have to make sure that agriculture is booming and agriculture is back on its feet. Farming technology, precision agriculture, not digauji, not command agriculture, not this kind of agriculture that Mnangagwa is preaching, not presidential inputs. Smith did very well for producing and making, not to be a consuming country. We want to know that this is made in Bulawayo. You know, we have Madora made in Bulawayo. We have the nicest beef made in Zimbabwe. We need to make sure that we are a producing country. We have to restore our status as a producing country. We have to make sure that we are a global leader in education. We are an education nation. Do you know that we have educated so many people? Professors, though I doubt some of our professors, but many of them have done very well across the whole world. I mean the political professors. But the academic and intellectual professors have done very well. And we salute them, they've done very, very well. We need to be a model country around governance and leadership. Zimbabwe must be known for good governance. Not what we are right now. Whenever people talk about stolen election, Zimbabwe. When people talk about a divided country, Zimbabwe. When people talk about political violence, Zimbabwe. We must, when people talk about a model of good governance, multiracialism, unity in diversity, Zimbabwe. We need to restore our country as a model country for good governance and democracy. We will have elections, people will not be beaten up for voting the president out. It must be glorious for you to actually be shown your way out. Because, you know, staying there is laborious. It's glorious out there. But somebody thinks that once they are president, they must not leave. They must remain there. Please, citizens, try and trust this president. You will leave when you have said it's time up. Zimbabwe must be known for best business and good investment. No investor will lose their investment in this country. Property rights will be guaranteed and secure. That's making Zimbabwe a tourism destination. That's item number 1, which is to make Zimbabwe great. To make Zimbabwe great. To make Zimbabwe great. One people, one nation, one vision. So our plan is very clear in terms of that point 1 agenda. We want to make sure that, do you know that in 1980, our Zimbabwean dollar was stronger than the US dollar? Yes. At 1:1.5. We want to even double. The US dollar must be 1:2, with the Zimbabwean dollar having restored. But we're not going to go there yet. We'll start by making sure that we resuscitate our economy. We'll use the US dollar as a currency of choice among the basket of currencies into business. That's item number 2. But within the economy, we are also emphasizing the issue of dealing with debt. The national debt is standing at about 18 billion. I've said we are going to repay our debt. That is a very strong statement. We have to repay our debt. But the debt has to be renegotiated so that we have the terms of that repayment. We have resources. Look at the illicit financial flows. Almost, you look at 1.8 billion, 1.2 in gold, 1.2 billion, 600 million, almost in other minerals. You look at the parastatals and ministries, 1 billion corruption. If you save that 2.8 billion within 6 years, you would have been able to deal with the issue of paying your debt. So this is how we are going to deal with our debt. We will have to renegotiate with those creditors so that we are able to pay our debt. We need to be a country that is not surviving on debts. We have resources. There's no need for us to borrow beyond our capacity. We have resources, 60 minerals. We need to deal with that. That is on the economy. Dealing with the economy. We have to deal with entrepreneurship and the rewarding entrepreneurship. And also under this, we are remembering the rural areas. We have introduced what we call Matura, which is the modernization agenda for the transformation and urbanization of rural areas. Matura is a program to make sure that rural areas are built back into stardom of productivity. Smith created what are called reserves because they were reserved for labor force. We need to move from the reserved mindset so that we are able to unleash the potential of our people in the rural areas. So the Matura program is going to be dealing with that. We'll have a tractor per village as a program to make sure that we move from ox-drawn, plowing into modern plowing. A tractor per village is possible. Look at ZANU-PF. They've bought over 2,500 cars. Stop buying those cars. Give a tractor per village. A hospital, Matura. Let's have a hospital per district. World-class hospital. Here in people, in Ulawa. People are sick here in Ulawa, not in Harare. That is part of our devolution agenda, but also part of making sure that under Matura program, every village must be modernized as hospital level. We have about 57, 58 rural district councils. Let's have a hospital per district. And of course, we can have other referral hospitals in Ulawayo, in the major capitals. But we need to. Honorable Court, I asked people in Kwazan, how many of you have boarded a plane? None. Of all the people in Kwazan, none. Yet in other countries, people use these planes as combis. That is where we want to take our country. Let's dream again. Let's hope again. Let's make a strong economy. Let's be a people again. Matura is a massive transformational program for the rural areas. We want to uplift our rural areas and bring them to stardom. Bring back the issue of beneficiation and value addition. Under our government, no lithium is going to go out of this country unprocessed. Under our government, no gold is going to be reported on Al Jazeera. There's not going to be any gold mafia. If anything, there's going to be a gold mafia, not a gold mafia. People who worship God and who respect God. Gold can't be wasted. We want to see our government. We will seek first the infrastructure. Once we get right infrastructure, everything then follows. We need to get our infrastructure sorted. Bullet trains, spaghetti roads. These are doable things. These are doable. But try us. Do you trust this president? We want urban metro system here in Ulawa. You must know that in 15 minutes there's going to be a metro that is going to come. In the next 30 minutes, if you miss this one, you wait for the next one. Not to live in a country where there's disorder. You don't know whether you are going or you are coming. But you start with the president. And I'll show you one thing. I will never put on a scarf when it is hot. Yes, this is the new government, a citizen's government. The Internet of Things, blockchain. We are going to introduce the fourth industrial revolution. We are going to do it. We did it in the inclusive government. Dr. Kupe, you know how we did with Mugabe. It was a difficult proposition, but we excelled. What more of a government where the leader is clear on where we are going? Within a short space of time, we will turn this country great. And that is, it's a matter of days, it's a matter of hours. Because it starts with the right signal. The signals of leadership, the signals of love, the signals of confidence. That is what is needed. And thank you, Dad. You can fault me, and I have many mistakes and many weaknesses as a leader. But genuineness is not one of the deficits. I'm genuine about saving this country. I'm genuine about making a difference in this country. That's on the economy, and you see many other things on the economy. We have not exhausted the things, the Sovereign Wealth Fund, the issues we are doing on mining, on education, how we are going to turn small enterprises, make them more profitable. Government must be for the producing and productive. Government must be results-oriented. If you are not producing results, we show you the door. No one individual is the last born. Even the president is not the last born. We will always have the next man and the next woman to serve the people of Zimbabwe with grace and with merit, on merit. So yes, on governance, our vision is to build a 21st century modern, transformational and responsible state that is capable, accountable, responsive, and respectful to the citizen. But how are we going to do it? Number one, we are going to have a national vision that is shared by all the people. So once we become government, and I'm not saying if, when we become government, we are coming back to you in the first 6 months to have a nationwide consultation on a shared national vision. We have a vision, but it's a party vision. We need a vision that involves all the Zimbabweans, including those in Zimbabwe. We need a shared vision. And we need a vision sharing and a visioning program. At least we cannot share a journey, but let's share the destination. Let's share where we are going. Right now, we are not sharing a destination. Some people think that the problem is sanctions. We genuinely believe that sanctions are essential. The problem is leadership. Once we tick the boxes of leadership, sanctions will go away. The next morning, I'm going to lift my phone and say, Mr. Biden, we've done the deal. Let's fix the country. Let's do business. Investors from America will come here because we've done our bit of the bargain. We are able to have a leadership deficit resolution. That is what must be done to resolve issues. But it starts with vision sharing. We need to share the vision. Where do we want to take our country? What is the journey? You know, President Beck once said, a vision not shared by a community is not a vision. Equally, a dream that has not been shared by a community is not a dream. So we need to share a dream so that we are able to work together. We need to have a new constitution. As far as we are concerned, the document that is there is a good document, but it's not the best document. We need a people, citizen-driven constitution that reflects all our diversity. That one was a compromise document by the end of consultation, freedom, and ability to say this is what we want for our country going forward. So a new constitution will come if you vote. Do you trust this president? Yes. We'll resize and restructure our government. Devolution, as I said, is the next revolution. We are not going to have 10 provinces. We'll have 5 regions. And this one is the southern region. We'll have the central. We have tenders that are in government. We don't want people in Harare to come and take tenders in Bulawayo. People in Bulawayo must also benefit from the tenders of government services and government contracts here in Bulawayo. This thing of having people from Harare, they come and occupy tenders, no more. Do you trust this president? Yes. We are also going to build a digital government. Electronic everything. E-Lopola. I know some will say we want hard cash, but we are going to modernize Rusambo so that you are able to pay Rusambo online. And that's what is in the real Rusambo. Yes, you can ask me. You have to pay online. That's modernizing systems. Please do not lose the essence of what I say. I want you to understand that we have to digitize our systems. From the beginning up to the end. When a child is born, we must already record. When they get 18, there's no need for people to queue to register as voters. You are automatically registered. Electronically. You are registered voter. You receive a notification, Mr. Smith, Mr. Enjoy your rights. Okay, that is where we are going. That is where we must be going. Not this thing, oh, my name is not in the row, oh, my name has been removed. That's backward. Do you trust this president? Yes. We need to invest in modernizing system. Social security number. When you are born, you already have a social security number. Activated when you then attain the legal age of majority. Driver's license, everything, electronic. We know when you're at school. We know when competence is there. So that you are able to also benefit your nation in your skills. You know, Dave, when you're Minister of Education, that's part of what you must be dealing with on the curriculum. Nobody is daft. You are just differentially gifted. And that must be understood. That being an intellectual giant does not mean that you are a social giant. Others are giants elsewhere, where you are not a giant. But our education must speak to those peculiarities. And that also begins with a digital government. Do you trust this government? Yes. On the issue of museums and monuments, we must preserve our heritage as a country to make sure that we make our history, our sports, our music, our arts, a source of earning income. You know, there is this group here, very powerful. They've done very well internationally. You know, Zimbabwe us. And Albert Nyatsi. He has done well very internationally. But we don't even celebrate him here. We think we are seeing a rat when we are looking at an elephant. He's a giant, but we must be able to elevate him. Create opportunities for him. He's not the only one. There's Contanas, Amagos, and IASA. We must be able to build IASA to that level. That requires a government that is able to leverage on the competencies of our people. It starts with the government. That is the government we are promising. Do you trust this government? Yes. But in Parliament, we are not going to end there. We are going to revolutionize Parliament immediately when we become a government for parliamentary debate. Yeah. So that you see what is debated in Parliament, because this is where your laws are being made. We'll have a television channel set aside for parliamentary debates. And also even television channels in communities for municipal debates in the chamber. So that people are brought closer to government, closer to lawmaking, closer to decision making. We will be able, in this government, to say, we are going to introduce the right of recall. If you are a member of parliament, you are a councillor, if you don't perform, we look at the number of people who voted for you. If 2/3 write a petition, either to the speaker or to the relevant chamber, to say our representative has gone AWOL, is a missing person, who allow them to recall it and allow them to choose a new representative. We are also going to introduce a new system, a public barometer for all public offices and officers. If you are a minister, there's going to be a public barometer to rate you. For MPs, to rate you. At the end of the year, you must be rated. How did you fare? You go to parliament, you don't even cough or sneeze. But you still want to remain in parliament. MPs must debate national issues of the opposition in parliament. And I said this to the people, but we also want the official opposition leader to be invited officially to all the national functions. Not this business of saying national functions are reduced to a party affair. One of the things that we are going to promise you as a new government is to separate state from party. What is called, for political scientists, partocracy, state-party conflation. We are not going to allow state-party conflation. When we are in government, government is the common denominator. Your political party is a numerator. We don't want numerators in government. We want the denominator. We are all one people. ZANU-PF, you come. CCC, you come. But if you have a party card, that's not your access to government services. Access to government services because you are a citizen. Access to government services because you deserve. Either on the basis of age, on the basis of disability, on the basis of certain of the marginalization that we have suffered in the past. So we want to equalize. We want a government for everyone. That is our humble submission in the government that we are proposing. Of course, you will read for yourself. We are going to review the Central Intelligence Services. There's not going to be a police force. There's no force. It's a police service. There's no defense force. It's a defense service. There's no CIO, Central Intelligence Organization. There's a Central Intelligence Service. They will not pursue you, looking at you as, spying on you. They will spy on economic opportunities. What was done in Japan? Turn your Central Intelligence Service into economic spies to make sure that you are competent and you are globally competitive as a government. So CIO, leave this thing of pursuing Chamisa. Pursue opportunities and chances. So that when everyone, pensioners, we want you to retire peacefully and to be happy in retirement. Even members of parliament who have served, or councillors, when you have retired, we don't take away the title. You will still continue to be called honorable, but retired honorable. You will still be called alderman, but retired alderman. So that there is dignity for you. You are not asked, you are not embarrassing. We take the responsibility from you. David Coulter, they served as member of parliament. He must continue to be retired honorable David Coulter. Unless if you steal people's money, we will take back those money. I don't suspect that you can do this. Honor in retirement. Even for service. You look at people who are in the army. When they retire, they have nothing. People in the civil service, when they retire, they have nothing. They have nothing to show for it. We want retirement and honor in retirement. An arm of service approach. That's number 3. Number 4, social services, I conclude. Social services, the most important issue is education. And on education, we are going to work on the critical issue of revamping the curriculum. I've said to people, the color program has to go. Let's review the curriculum and have a new curriculum. What the people are happy about. We will come and ask you as experts, as parents, what do you want to see in the curriculum of your children? So that our education is founded on very strong pillars that will make the country move in industrialization, productivity, and success. Do you agree with that program? Yes. Do you agree with that program? Yes. Social services. We'll also make sure that we deal with the issue of health. Of course, on primary education, we've already indicated grade 1 to 7. Let us have universal free primary education. We are also doing away with exam fees, by the way. There's no need for parents to pay exam fees. As in South Africa, no need for exam fees. We need to make sure that at least we come in to do what has to be done for our parents and we give them dignity. From 1 to 6, you have to come in and deal with the issues. We will also have special programs for women. Women are suffering. There's no what is called women care program. Government divorce laws, marriage laws. We are going to deal with the issue of women care, but we don't also forget men. Men are also weak in certain areas. They must be taken care of. Men are, just take away the woman. You will see that they are not very strong. Persons with disabilities, they need special care. One of the things we are going to do as government under the social services is to make it mandatory for all public buildings to have mechanisms that cater for persons with disabilities, for accessibility. You can't build a public building, whether private or public, if you and women in uniform. Our nurses, our teachers, those who work for government, dignity of our civil service. You know, it must be the most prestigious thing to work for government. In fact, those who work for government are going to be the most and highly remunerated. So that we take competence away from private sector. Of course, on the social services, we are also going to make sure that we honor our heroes. But our heroes are not going to be politicians only. Heroes are going to be all. We are going to have an independent body to confer hero status on the basis of non-guidelines and set guidelines. It doesn't matter you're ZAPU, you're Triple C, you are a sports. If you qualify, you will be a hero. You may not necessarily be better than Mafumo. He's in the diaspora, singing from there. Very, very angry with the situation. An icon of the liberation struggle. Kirsty Coveney. She's our minister now. But she's done very well for our country. She has put us on the world map. Let's give her the honors. I may not agree with her politically, but we must be able to honor each other in terms of the honors we have. Celebrating our heroes, celebrating our heroines in their life, and rolling out programs for our communities to celebrate our heroes. People in the rural areas are our heroes. They fought for the liberation of this country, but we have not honored infrastructure. That's why we have Matura to celebrate them. The health insurance care, there's going to be universal health care, at least for the primary health care. But for others, of course, we will have to also pay. But we must have health insurance for every citizen, like in other countries. Citizen health care plan is coming. Last but not least is the issue of nation building. We need healing. We are a nation in turmoil. We need to build. When you open a business, you must not open a business like you are a foreigner. There are privileges you must have access to. When you are a citizen, you must not be removed from your ancestral lands because we have, identified or discovered a resource there. You have rights. You can't be moved away. That is what I was saying about land rights. You have to be asked for permission by government. Chilonga is a case in point. Jindi is a case in point. Kisumbang is a case in point. People should not be chased away from their rural areas on account of economic development. They must be compensated. There must be consensus. That's part of the citizen rights. National pride must be restored. Not to say being a political party is patriotism. We will repeal all obnoxious pieces of legislation. All these things. Patriotism is best legislated in the hearts of the people. When people love their country because they know that the country is lovable. We are going to have a lovable country because of what the country is doing for you. That is what we must correct. We can't be receiving from the UK or from the United States. We can actually donate to them and donate to others. Once we have resources, we have gold resources, we have platinum, we have lithium, 60 minerals. And we're not going to exploit all of them, only 5. The rest we preserve for future generations. That is where we are taking this country. Do you trust this government? Yes! We want to have this rights respecting government. Your rights, not Kudimuramba China. Kukurawundi. All those things. We are not going to be purchasing TSMO to come and disturb your peace. If you run rioters, we convince you to see the disadvantages of a riotous situation. Not to force you. This thing of force and using force against citizens is a thing of the past. This is our offer to you, fellow Zimbabwe. We are also going to show you, as you see in our document, we have things that we are going to do in the first 100 days. Let me have a copy. Let's have a copy distributed. While these people are still seated. Thank you. This is our document. That spells out an alternative government for everyone. Ulawayo, omhle mathebeleke. Real money. Number 4, universal free primary education. Number 5, a stakeholder turnaround program to make sure that we consult you on the vision making process and the time frames. Number 6, free the airwaves so that we don't just have ZTC as the only TV. We want to have various television stations. Let there be choice. Yes, we'll have the state broadcaster, but let us also have public broadcasters. And there must be many. Number 7, we'll reintroduce executive mayors to make sure that there's accountability, there's also devolution, so that you are able to run no more history. Those who have, that is where people have nice cars. In government, people must have decent cars to do the work to serve the people. Number 9 in business. Not this business of a government just boldly, extending the shoulders of the road. Oh, look at what we have done. You have done nothing. We haven't started. Drug cartels. We are going to immediately crack down on drug mafia and drug cartels so that we save our young ones who are being subjected to Torino in the The war on drugs. And of course, there's going to be a cessation of victimization on the basis of politics. And those who have been fired from government, civil service, army, police, will review your situation case by case, so that you serve your country patriotically without fear or favor. Title deeds for both urbanites and those who are in the resettled farm. New farmers, you must have title deeds. Of course, we will not have multiple farm ownership, but we will allow those who are on the farm to have title to those farms. Within the first 100 days, we would have started rationalizing, and of course, it's a continuous program. Massive infrastructure rehabilitation and a master plan of infrastructure. We will fix our broken politics by looking at political violence in this past. We will restore Zimbabwe as a family of nations, the debt resolution, the issue of fair prices to farmers. We want our farmers to have fair prices for their crops, tobacco, cotton. Business must come back to agriculture. Right now, agriculture is not a business. We must not have agriculture destroy this business. Last but not least, we will repeal all oppressive legislation. You know them, we will repeal them. There is no need for us to debate on them. I want to thank you for your patience. May God bless you. Remain seated as I say to this. Give them the books now. We want the books now for everyone as we lift our books. Say, welcome to a citizen republic. Welcome to a new great Zimbabwe for everyone. Please. They're coming. Thank you so much. I'm sure you like this new program. Do you agree with the blueprint? Do you agree with the blueprint? Sorry, police. Attention. Please, let us be orderly. I see especially the councillors there. We can't afford to hear them. Let us be orderly. Let's start from this side. So also I have good news for you, fellow citizens. Today, you go and check those who are not going to get the document. Go and check for a document. Sorry. Those who are distributing, stop distributing. Let me say, fellow citizens, I know your hunger for this document. It's your hunger for the new Zimbabwe. It's appreciated. You get your copy. Those of you who have come, you get your copy. There's no need for you to be online. Our website is functional. We have launched our website. I've said no distribution. I've said no distribution. Let's focus so that we have attention. You get your copy at the appropriate time so that is order.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. May we all be seated as the manifestos are being distributed. The program is not yet over. May we all be kindly be seated. May I ask everyone to go back to your seats? May we all be seated. Bulawayo Moshe. Thank you. So at this sense, Ella Ustabile Mlilo to give us closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please, there is enough manifestos for everyone.
To join us here. Thank you very much, and you are always welcome to our program. And we also want to thank everyone who is here to say that Haiti, as we go, we are campaign party. This is a winner, and we are going to win for everyone because Bulawayo is for everyone and Zimbabwe is for everyone. Let me take this opportunity to thank everyone and say that this blueprint is the best blueprint ever, and this blueprint is for everyone.
Thank you so much.
Tinoziziva kuti makabisikidza mwana wenyu chezvamagara muchiita nguva dzose kuti munongedza mumwe pakati pedu kuti afambe nechiono chenyu mukati menyika. Zvekunamata mwana wamasimba wose kukunda mukati mesarudzo. Zvakawanda zvingaitwa navanhu asi hazvibudirire kana Mwari kuri pakati pedu. Tinokutenda mweya mutsvene zvadzinoita zvichionekwa. Tinotuka mweya wese wemhirizhonga uregedze kuoneka kubva zvino zvichienda mberi. Zimbabwe iuye nekukunda nekubudirira pakutenda Mwari wamasimba wose muchengetedze mumwe nemumwe pakati pedu uye nekuramba makachengeta muranda wenyu Advocate Chamisa wamakazota nechekare kuti watungamirire nyika ino yeZimbabwe. Tinokutendai mweya mutsvene madekwana nemukudzwe nekuti makatendeka. Chifambai nesu patangobva pano nechadziri dzigova nesu muzita raMambo Jesu. Amen.
Thank you so much.